going to be, we'll bring you up on your, or you can bring your mics up when it's time, if that made sense. Are we live, Kat?
We are live.
All right, welcome everybody to our April 7th Campus Safety Committee meeting. Scott, I'll ask you to call us to order and roll call.
Absolutely. Matthew Carmichael, Chief of Police, UPD.
Here.
Kat Hoyt, Alternative Program Coordinator, UP. Present. Patrol Operations, UPD. Melissa Stein, Parking. Here. Adriana Garcia, Communications and Record Supervisor, UPD. Present. Ricky Bowie Johnson, Resident Student Association.
Present.
Latoya Howell, Housing and Residential Life.
I'm here for Latoya.
You are? Okay, perfect. And your name?
Scott Cook.
Scott Cook. Okay, awesome.
I worked with a Scott Cook in back in the day. Police officer though. So it's nice to hear the name. Sorry. Go ahead, Kat.
Thank you.
Disregard.
Valerie Holmes, Dean of Students.
Here.
Carla Munoz, Emergency Manager.
Here.
Dr. Michael Supancic, Faculty Senate.
Here.
Abby Myers, Tech State Student Government President. She is on her way. She is running a little bit behind. Emma Stampley, Tech State Student Government Vice President. Chad Willis, Staff Counsel. Dan Costello, Associate Vice President Facilities.
Here.
Nicole Thomas, Head of Public Services, Tech State Libraries.
Here.
And Teresa, Bobcat with Disabilities. Here. All right, Chief, that concludes roll call.
Excellent. Thanks, everyone. The minutes or the video from the last meeting are always kept online and available for your review. We have a fairly brief agenda today. First topic item, I think, is probably for Director Costello or his team, which was an update on the campus safety walk results.
Yeah, I can provide that. So for the spring walk, we had 83 findings between us and on the San Marcos campus and the Round Rock campus. Almost all of them, 82 of the 83 were on the San Marcos campus. Most of those being light out or inoperable or tripping hazards. And so of the 83 findings, we've already corrected or completed 35 of them, with 48 in progress or being developed for work. So making good progress.
Excellent progress. Good work. Any questions on safety walk? And Dan, are you able to give us a update on the Lumens walk?
Yeah, that's actually great point, Chief. So the night after the safety walk, they did do a Lumens walk where they walked the San Marcos campus and they took lighting measurements. And as a result of that, have developed a two-phased project. With the first phase starting this summer, and then the following phase to begin in the fall. So with me, I think I've got some good numbers on that. I might be able to share my screen. Let me see real quick.
Please help him share his screen.
Yes, Dan, at the bottom, you'll see a presenter invite. You can click it there.
Okay, let me see real quick if I can. I'm going to throw some numbers out just real quick. Let's see. Trying to because I'm talking from my phone and I'm working from my computer. So why don't you come back to me? Give me a chance to work out the logistics.
Okay, if you have it as a PDF or a slide, if you want to Teams it to me, and I can put it up on here for you.
All right, that'd be great. Give me a few minutes. Proceed without me.
Okay.
All right, and then I'll come back to leaves as well. As far as ADA concerns and accessibility related to scooters, UPD started a campaign for ensuring those areas were not blocked. This included a trial period of warning tags. They created warning tags to first educate, and then they've continued with that program. So we should be seeing a improvement in the area for accessibility as it relates to scooters. As you know, we have grown in our scooter population, thanks, Abby. Scooter population substantially. Matter of fact, there's a scooter out in front of the police department. It's been there for like 3 weeks. Who owns the scooter? I mean, why would you leave your scooter? Sorry. So, which segues into also, well, that's for Dan as well. But any questions on the scooters? And I'll ask Dan about the leaves. That was brought up last time about a lot of leaves on campus and making that, traversing those areas. So while he's working on his document, we'll come back to that. From micromobility and theft prevention, our bike and scooter theft is substantially high. I know we were going to have our operations person here today, but he's not here today. The bike and scooter theft, I don't know if, Dan, you're in a place you can speak to potential changes that we're looking at from a facilities perspective.
Yeah, actually, I can talk to that. So if you, right now, Emma Parsley is running, she has the micro mobility lab underneath her portfolio, previously known as the Bike Cave. But as part of that, she has surveyed the campus and looked for opportunities to add additional racks for scooters and bicycles based off of where we see most of the, I'll say, illicit use, where people are locking primarily to ramps, railings and things like that. In addition to that, she's looking at the feasibility of basically recharging bike racks, similar to what, like we have the picnic tables that have the photovoltaic solar charging for phones. There is an opportunity for bike racks that have similar functionality where you could actually plug into, have the ability to charge based off of PV panels. So she's looking at that. I think she's working with the LBJ Student Center to identify specific areas adjacent to that building, because we've seen a lot of bikes being locked in there. So I'd say in a broader sense, looking at a variety of areas with an emphasis on LBJ Student Center for now.
Excellent. I want to make sure, and maybe I missed this, but also having secured cage-style parking, like cage-style outdoor parking garages, which I've seen used very successfully on other campuses, where students actually can use their card access to get in to park their bike or scooter, just from a protection perspective. I'll throw that out there.
Okay.
We did meet with the Parking and Transportation Student Government Subcommittee last week, even though they'd already had their final meeting. We found some time to meet together. And Kat, can you give us one of the requests, or do you have the update for the requests?
Yes.
I have some of them.
Yes, absolutely. So one of the requests was adding the bike and scooter racks along campus to the Texas State Interactive Map and to also the Park TXST app. I am already in conjunction with the GIS person for the interactive map and for the Park TXST map. Once we have all those locations for the bike racks, those will be on the maps. I estimate we'll probably have it done by this summer.
No, that's excellent. Thank you to your GIS guy, Dan.
That's Ben Bueller. I'd say reach out to him often. He's excellent.
And then we're also working on no ride zones for scooters and bicycles as well. And that's a summer project through UPD to see if there's areas on campus that we could restrict usage and improve pedestrian access.
Correct. And then we also talked about designated drop-off and pickup areas for Ubers, Lyft, ride shares, that sort of stuff. I know that there was a point that was brought up about specifically Wood Street, because we've added the additional buses there at Wood Street, and it's the long buses. Some of the bus stops have progressively moved farther down the sidewalk, which is where people tend to stop and drop off and pick up. So we are looking at that as well.
Yeah, that's a good project, and I think we'll find some partnership from rideshare companies because we will use common sense and balance convenience. If I try to put a rideshare zone that's a mile away or not convenient to faculty, staff, or students getting out of the car and actually getting fairly close, then it would be a waste of time. So we're focused on that as well over the summer from operations. Anything else from I thought there was one other thing from the parking. It's been a great group. Thank you. And matter of fact, several members are going to work with us over the summer on these projects. So truly appreciate our students.
There was other stuff, but we've already embedded it into the
Okay.
conversation. And I do have the slide up and ready for.
Go ahead, Dan.
Okay. So I'm gonna add that to the stage.
Yeah, and I guess I would just go to, we'll just go to slide 2. And I think that will be sufficient. Otherwise, it starts getting into the details. You can see from this map, again, this one is from the San Marcos campus. The area highlighted in green is the areas where we walked and did very kind of specific lumen counts. So you get measured actual foot candles. And so to be able to be more specific in our recommended improvements. And so as a result of this, there's 189 fixtures that have been identified for upgrade to LED fixtures. So, we have these older sodium light poles, sodium light fixtures. And so we'll replace those with LED, which will give you a whiter and a whiter light, but also with more lumen output. So pretty significant, 189 fixtures. Some of that will include poles as well. So again, they'll start that this summer and finish up in the fall.
And as a walker of campus on most nights, it's really good. There's the chief's novice layman's opinion of the lumens, Dan. It's looking pretty darn good.
Yeah, I would say this is not a cheap endeavor, right? I mean, it's, there's some big numbers there as far as light poles and fixtures. And I think that just shows the university's commitment, to providing a safe campus. I mean, total for this effort, phase 1 and phase 2 is over $500,000. So,
wow.
So it is a pretty significant lift.
Yeah, that is a significant lift. Any questions on the lumens report or lighting? Any concerns?
Is there any concern in Round Rock campus?
Yeah, so Round Rock, we're replacing 25. So we're converting parking lot light fixtures to LED, right? So that update improves lumen output as well as with a wider light, you get better rendering. It will appear clearer than, just due to the foot candles, or you get better clarity from white light as well.
Excellent. Dan, since we're in the Dan moment, leaves on campus. There was a concern when we at our last meeting about that impacting for ADA access. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, so we've talked it over. We've mentioned that to Nathan and his grounds crew to ask them to start emphasizing that again. I'd say as you find these types of issues, just go to Ready Request and you can load the work order. He's required to respond to those or to send his staff out and respond to those. So he won't. We may not get all of it, but if you see an area that is causing you a particular problem, just load the. I'd say just make the request through the work management system.
And Kat is already in sync with you, sir, and is loading into the chat the link for where you can go and use Ready Request. And I've used the system and it works exceptionally well.
Yeah. So I would say that what we did since I've been here, this used to only be available to limited staff. Now we make it available to all faculty, staff, and students, right? Something.
And you can even include a photo, right?
Mm-hmm. I used it the other day.
Abby used it the other day.
There was a sprinkler that was going on.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, it was losing its mind. But.
There was a road sprinkler, Dan, that got reported.
There you go. That's especially important during drought, right? To get those things identified.
Good point.
Well, it was funny because I was walking with my friends and they were like, Abby's going to stop. We're just going to stop. And I was like, I'm sorry.
That's awesome. Okay. Any questions from facilities, grounds? Any questions from that perspective? Everybody good? Thank you for the exceptional follow-up. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Happy to do it.
Let's move to Safe Rides updates, please.
Absolutely. So for the spring semester, we have had a lot more of closures than we have in the past due to holidays, road or weather conditions. We've had, as we all know, quite a bit of some interesting weather this year. But so the spring semester, we are sitting at 10,143 rides just for the spring semester. And that brings the academic year to date 25,266 rides.
Wow. And how's that trending compared to last year?
We are down a little bit than last year. Well, actually, I would say maybe give or take maybe 5,000 less, but I do anticipate us being able to bring it back since we do have more vehicles than we had last semester.
And weather's good.
Yeah, so last year we finished out with a little over 40,000 for the spring semester, or for the entire academic year. So I do say that we are pretty close to on par.
Okay. All right. Any questions on Safe Rides?
Do we have any other like metrics that we're measuring for that of like average wait times or anything like that?
I can absolutely so any metrics that we want to use, I can work into the system and look at it. Currently, the ones that are pre-embedded are the average wait time, if it's on or off campus drop-offs, and then zones as well. And then of course, the riders, total passengers, how many were the ones that called in on their own, and how many the dispatcher or a driver created the ride for them.
Okay.
I will say that we are in the process of looking for a new,
Like interface?
yes, our contract for the current Safe Ride system is up at the end of this academic year. We are talking to one called Spare right now. It will give the dispatchers a lot more ability to interact with calls and group calls themselves. So I do see that wait time will dramatically decrease because of that.
Do you know what our average wait time is today? Off the time, putting you on the spot. If you don't, you don't.
I don't. I will say, depending on if it's an on-campus drop-off to an off-campus drop-off, on-campus typically a lot shorter than off-campus.
Okay. So at the end of this cycle or the end of this academic year, we'll publish those numbers so that they're public.
Okay.
And users know what,
Yes.
our users can tell us what the wait time is.
Correct.
But our system will tell us.
It absolutely will. And I will say too, one thing that does bring the wait time up is when we have groups of 4 or more, because then they're having to wait for our vans, which we have only anywhere from 2 to 3 at a time. So then they have to wait for a specific vehicle for their party.
And how many vehicles are we running, say, tonight?
Tonight, we will have
Peak night, say Thursday night.
3 vans, 2 cars, and two golf carts.
Wow. Okay.
Weather permitting, the golf
Yeah.
carts.
Is there a way, like, I haven't been on Safe Ride since I had a gold pass, but is there a way to like reserve ahead of time instead of like for example, like you're gonna need a ride at 8. Can you go in and reserve that, or do you just kind of, it's around 7, I feel like it's gonna be an hour wait time?
So that's not something we're able to do with this current interface. The next interface, that is something that we can absolutely embed with. The other interface works directly with Google Analytics, so it's also able to look at road closures and that sort of stuff to factor all of that, including railroad crossings. So we'll be able to get a
Impressive.
much better up-to-date wait time with that.
Very nice. Do we have any update on, Adrian, do we have an update on Code Maroon rides?
We've had 3 this semester so far and 22 overall since we started last year.
Okay. So Code Maroon's our emergency ride for somebody, just as a reminder. I won't go into the spiel. All right, update on the award ceremony, Kat?
Parking.
Oh, parking, my bad. Parking metrics, Melissa Stein, who is our interim director of parking. What is our total year-to-date for citations and permits sold?
Well, I'm gonna need you to reach over and pinch Kat because she told me that I needed to pull these numbers and she told me just this.
I did.
semester.
I thought it was
Okay.
just semester, my bad.
All right, for the record, I'm not going to pinch Kat. And I would love to hear for the semester. We want
But next time I will come
My
prepared
bad,
with
my
your
bad.
date.
sorry, my bad.
Just for the spring semester, we have sold 846 permits with the majority of those being red faculty staff permits, and that's followed by gold permits. We did release an additional 103 green permits this semester from the wait list. Tickets that were issued since January 1st, we have issued 13,273. And we have had 1,661 of them dismissed.
Gotcha. Any questions on citations, permits?
Has parking switched, so you can't appeal citations in person anymore, is that correct?
You can.
You
Right
can.
now, it's just that our in-office person, he is off on paternity leave
Okay,
because he has a brand new baby girl. So we are limited to the staff. We have somebody that's filling in who comes in at 12 and is there 12 to 5 most days. But he's in SNR, so he can't work full-time. So right now, we do have the enforcement supervisor. We've set up a brand new email for just the appeals, which people are finding. And that way we have several people in the office that are linked up to that so they can all pick it up when it comes in to try to keep those appeals down. So the level ones are being handled a lot by email right now.
Cool. Thank you. Any other questions?
do we have an update on the parking audit that was done? Is
Yes,
that
so
coming?
yes, it is coming. It's taken a little bit longer than expected, but I do see it. We should be able to share, I should be able to share some summary information at our next meeting.
Perfect.
Yes.
My last one.
Okay.
At some point, is that report going to be available for distribution university-wide
Oh, yes.
on your website?
Yes. Yep. That was the full intent early on. Yeah. It was a lot, that was a lot of work.
And trust me, they were extremely thorough,
They were what?
extremely thorough.
Extremely thorough, so it's good.
We need.
Update on the therapy dog program. I'm
Yes.
assuming that's me, or is that you?
Either or.
Okay, go ahead.
So as everybody knows, we did bring 2 therapy canines back in January from a program called Falls and Stripes. Mando, who is our German Shorthair Pointer, and Blue, BLU, formerly known as Baloo,
It's like a entertainer.
is our black lab. Unfortunately, we have had some changes of handlers for Blue, but he has now found a new home with none other than Corporal Jorge Velasco. And if that name sounds familiar, it is because David Velasco, the handler of Mando, they are brothers. So the boys came from Florida and they are officially cousins now. So
We are the only, I can make this statement, recognizing that this is recorded. I believe we're the only department in the United States that has 2 working therapy dogs on patrol handled by 2 brothers who are police corporals.
There you go.
I think we're in.
I'm pretty sure.
So there is, there you go, there's our determinants. Man, I'd love to be, you know, I can tell you firsthand, the work that David and Jorge have done already is just substantial and impactful on our community, whether it's serving survivors in a courtroom setting, which they've done, or responding to crisis, or just being in the field. I had Blue for a couple of weeks. Just having the dogs in the field, it's amazing to see how they provide such love, care, and compassion just being a dog. So hats off to those 2 corporals. And I envision having, at some point, having a therapy team on 24/7. That's the kind of difference they make. It is well worth the investment. So thanks to that team. Our award ceremony is coming up at the end of the month,
April 28th, which is a Tuesday.
which is a Tuesday. The event, the doors open at 5:15. Dinner is served at 5:30. And then the awards ceremony begins at 6. I truly hope y'all come. We'll be at the LBJ Student Center Ballroom. We are going to recognize community members of the UPD for their amazing work last year in supporting this community. One of the highlights is we do present the Austin Salyer Community Service Award. This is a scholarship managed by UPD that honors the life of former Bobcat student Austin Salyer, who was a member of Texas State ROTC, had signed his Army contract, and sadly was killed in his apartment off campus when a neighbor negligently discharged his firearm, then went through the apartment. So both Austin's parents, Bonnie and Rodney, are both alumni and amazing supporters of Texas State University, and they will be here personally to bestow that award upon a Bobcat, ROTC Bobcat. Our keynote speaker is the ASAC, the Assistant Supervising Agent in charge for this region for the FBI. He will be here for remarks as well. So it is going to be a remarkable event. It always is. If you've been there throughout the years, it is a great opportunity to recognize those who serve this community, both from UPD and from the community. This is a team effort. So please, please, please make a moment to come have dinner with us and join us at the event. Kat, I will open us to Q&A.
Yes, so we'll open up to Q&A for anybody online, for any of the committee members, or if the committee members have anything to bring to the committee, now is the time.
I did have one question kind of regarding towards Bobcat Village's visitor parking, and also, do y'all have any plans to add visitor parking to other upperclassmen apartments?
So we're looking at visitor parking at the entire campus. That's always under review. It is part of the audit. Melissa has been brilliant on working on some of the parking areas like Bobcat Village, where we're using AMP, which is the pay to park system, can be used to help us moderate and manage visitor parking as well. And another, while it's a pay to park system, it can be a no charge no charge to park, but it gives us the ability to manage those types of spaces. So very general response at this point. We haven't identified more specific areas, but we are working through the Bobcat Village, not experiment, but it is setting the tone for us to see how that works for visitor parking. So stay tuned on that one. And I'm sorry, what was the second part to that?
Have y'all had any ideas of adding any other visiting parking to the upperclass apartments like Balcones and Cypress?
Yes, and so no specific spaces identified at this time, but that is part of the audit and part of something that we'll configure for fall.
All right, thank you.
But I thought he had something.
No, it was that.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm sorry. I thought I heard something else.
Some people that I've been talking to have been saying that they don't feel safe when people on non-car vehicles like scooters, bikes, skateboards, anything with a wheel basically is just going on pedestrian areas of campus. And for me in particular, because they don't make noise, I don't feel safe walking sometimes when they're zipping past me, and I've almost gotten hit by a bike yesterday trying to cross the street because I couldn't hear it. So I was wondering if there was anything we could do about they have to have a mandatory thing that makes a noise, or something that would alert you that someone is coming by, because most of the time these people don't even tell me particularly that they're even coming towards me. So I don't know to move out of the way or anything.
I think that's, so I think about the hybrid vehicles, the EVs, they all make a noise just for the reason you're explaining. But you're right, not on the scooters and bikes. So to that second point, no, we haven't considered a noisemaker. It's interesting though. It's something definitely that we'll look into, especially working with the Park and Transportation Group students this summer. But yes, to the I shared earlier the no ride zone. So we are looking to identify areas. So this is not, and it's not a new idea, having no ride zones on campus, especially in the pedestrian areas. So we're looking at that from two perspectives. The first is the obvious one, which is where would that be? And then the second would be what UPPS could we create that would support it? So there has to be it's one thing to say it's a no ride zone, but if there's no violation and no accountability, then everybody just knows, oh, it's a sign that says no ride zone. So typically something like a no ride zone or, in a city, it would be a municipal code. For us, it would be a UPPS. So yes to that. We have not identified the no ride zones, but we're working on it. So we'll definitely be soliciting support, especially from you as to, identifying those areas and then how we proceed. But it will be, any change that we make is predominantly going to be in fall. But it does, from a marketing and communication perspective, it is something that our PIO could do now through our social media channels, and then requested on a broader scope from the university would be to send out a reminder campaign about, most bike riders know to call out in advance to either ring a bell. Well, I shouldn't say most. Some bike riders know to ring a bell or say on your left or on your right. And so that is something we could work on. Can Kat get with you outside of this meeting to get some background to help with that campaign?
There's also I know there are regulations on at least for electric wheelchairs and stuff, there are speed limit regulations for those.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if we could implement some kind of a speed limit regulation for these scooters and bikes within pedestrian zones, the same way that electric wheelchairs have to have them.
Yeah, I would say potentially. I don't know the answer right now, but I don't know that we couldn't apply that same regulation or that same code. So definitely something we will work on together. But I don't know the answer right now.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Doc, you're good? Everybody's good? All right, thank you, everybody online. Oh, do we have any more? Nicole's got a question.
Yes, Nicole.
Sorry.
Hi, sorry, it's okay. This is my first meeting. So the first question I had is, did you say that we currently have larger scale storage for bikes?
We do.
Or is that something you're planning?
So we're looking at that. I know that from a facilities perspective, they're looking at different spaces. I think back to my time at the University of Oregon, we had enclosed cages.
Right.
Just for this very reason. And you could, if I remember right, pretty sure it was a scan of your ID. So you could get in, park your bike and leave. And that way, the folks that are hitting us, because we have identified some suspects in these thefts, but these thefts are substantial. And matter of fact, the scooters are considered a vehicle. So it's actually a vehicle theft. But yeah, that's there. I know that Director Costello's team is looking at through his group now of what kind of things can be added, but there are none today.
Oh, okay. Just wanting to make sure. And just to do a recommendation, I'm a full-time pedestrian, and so one of the things I've been appreciated when I worked at other campuses were actually actual individual lockers that you can put your bike in. Is really helpful, on a smaller scale for people like me who use our bikes to commute, because I could fit more stuff in there, and then I knew that it was in there securely. The system I've used in the past, you had to pay on a card, but that may also be something to combine with the larger sort of cage style rooms or anything like that, just because you can put them on other places around campus. That's all.
Yeah, I agree 100%, having used those myself before, and it typically is on a paid basis, but it helps to, purchase the items and then maintain them. But no, I'll add that to the list, and I'll share that with Director Costello. Sorry if I got my back to because everybody's behind me on the screen. So Dina Holmes, the best dean on planet Earth. Do you have any questions for the team, or are you good?
Thanks so much. You know, we try over here. I don't have any questions other than, I don't have any questions at all. I do have a comment just for the group and asking us to if you all could think about so that you can give recommendations as it relates to how best we might be able to communicate to our student population, messaging around how to stay healthy during the month of April, in particular, the end of the academic of the spring semester is typically the hardest as it relates to how we see increased numbers of students with mental health issues presenting, interpersonal violence issues presenting, and things of that nature. And so I'm always really curious to hear back from groups of like-minded individuals who care about the safety of our campus in ways that you can communicate out proactively to our students of resources that are available to them, and help them to understand that there are services and that there are people waiting to support them. I am fully aware that it is tough to get people to read emails as they get so many of them, right? And we don't have a lot of places on campus where there typically are flyers. So what does that leave you with, really, as it relates to tapping into our student population or spreading the word about different things? But we definitely want to hear your feedback on that, as it's necessary, and we want to hear some ideas. It's not just our ideas on how to do that. That's all.
Just a quick thought on that. I would say what Reverend Brizard, I think that was, what he used to do, I think was super useful for students. But I also think it would be interesting to see if we can incorporate his kind of stylistic approach to that through like counseling center / whatever other resources that you want most prevalent at this time out there in that space. Cause like it's frequently walked through by students who don't visit LBJ and things like that. Cause like realistically, your student leaders are the people that spend the most of their time in flyered areas are going to know about the resources. I think where you could hit harder is like the activation and tabling. So that's what I would say.
So I hit the stallions with our.
And you could do like the talk to me about anything, but it could be a counseling center approach or a therapy dog approach or whatever. Because even then, like, you know, we do therapy dogs at the library, but like I haven't been to the library since freshman year except to print stuff. And so it's just like, I'm not, peace and love, not going in there, you know? Love our librarians though. So that's kind of where I would approach that too.
I like that idea. Yeah, and anytime we take, especially we could support the dean and the counseling center in all ways, as always, but having our therapy dogs there always brings the students. So
I wrote it down. Thank you.
Thanks for bringing that up, Dean. That's probably the most, and it's not probably, it is the most important topic of the night, of the day, of the moment, and I will follow up with you. I will. Okay, we have to order those for this table, please.
Okay.
I will follow up you post hasty in the next couple days too to see what we can do further. It's a good reminder.
If you want to CC student government, we can probably apply some different tactics or strategies as well.
Perfect. So we'll include student government as well.
I will say one thing on a UPD side, videos, like little short reels, when you can especially include other fellow students and include some sort of humor in it, do very, very well for our students to see them. Social media, specifically Instagram.
So like a video of you in uniform sitting at a table talking would not draw attention?
No.
I agree. Perhaps what we can do is we can work to like have almost a campaign or a competition to get all other Texas State affiliated channels to post, right? Because there's a couple not everybody does that well, and not everybody has social media channels. But if we can get everyone with the social media channels to repost you all or other people's material who do it well, then I think it's a win.
Like that is one thing I will absolutely rave to housing. Housing is so quick. Whoever runs every single Res Hall account, as soon as we post something, they are immediately sharing our stuff.
That's just, I don't know.
Yes.
Well, we also post cute puppies and cute horses.
You definitely.
Yeah, whoever has the Sayers account loves student government,
Yes.
so don't know who's running that, but props to you.
Sayers and Falls,
Yeah,
my favorite.
every single time. No, I would also say like, so we just wrapped up election season, but with that being said, a lot of our candidates created campaign accounts where they're
Yes.
consistently posting reels. My thought is that we can incorporate some of the people that win come tomorrow when they find out and just be like, hey, why don't you guys use your campaign Instagrams? Obviously, we can use one from student government too, and give me your best. Like, I'm a member of student government. I'm trying to amplify mental health resources. They can all come up with their own reel, and we'll do a mini competition within our org as well. And then
Yeah, because I know that there was the one
Really?
student who was walking around campus and he was interviewing students and was talking to students about stuff here on campus, and it was like he was doing it until he was able to get President Danfus to do a walk
climb
with
the
him.
wall.
Yeah, to climb a rock wall with him, and I think he finally did it, and then his campaign is now over, but that was his.
Yeah.
So videos like that have been doing fantastically well for Texas State campus.
Also,
Yeah.
anytime you do a BOCO scavenger hunt, people love the little stuff.
Yeah.
No,
I
Boco
don't know.
scavenger hunt, Dean. All right, that's a good one too. All right, well, we'll get together. And I'll talk with Dean Holmes offline and whatever we do soon on this topic, we'll also invite members of this committee if you want to spend some time helping out.
Sounds good. Alrighty.
Cool.
Does anybody have anything else for the
Anything
table?
else for the good? Sorry. Right.
No. Okay, well, just a reminder, our last campus safety committee meeting for this semester will be May 5th.
Which is close enough to my birthday, so, you know,
Any presents are welcome.
We have a
anything's welcome, cash preferable, but,
we'll get the cake for you.
angel food cake? No,
Lemon pound cake.
lemon.
Pound
oh,
cake.
okay.
Yes, no, it's my favorite.
Yes, thanks, everybody.